Derrick Henry stole the Jacksonville Jaguars' soul. I used to hear from Jacksonville fans a lot. They would come to me and they would say things like, Blake Bortles is so much better than Marcus Mariota. Nobody is going to be able to stop Blake Bortles now that he's on fire. And I used to hear from him, our defense is unstoppable. We are going to be a juggernaut for years to come. Haven't heard a lot of that. Duval! That's what they sounded like. They sounded like they didn't have any balls that had dropped when they were playing against the Titans last night. Instead of saying Duval, they sounded like this. Duval! And that's because Derrick Henry, as he was running down the field, grabbed their balls and squeezed until they said, we relent, we submit, we quit. I've never seen one player own a football field like I saw Derrick Henry own the Jacksonville Jaguars last night. Duval! Jacksonville Jaguars got dominated by Derrick Henry. That 99-yard touchdown run. My son, my 8-year-old's favorite player is Derrick Henry. We were watching it at home. My house came undone when Derrick Henry made that 99-yard touchdown run. It was pure bedlam in my house. That's one of the greatest runs in the history of the NFL. Period. Now, you can argue it's not the greatest, but there's only been 2 99-yard touchdown runs ever. This and Tony Dorsett back in 1983. So it's a pretty rare occurrence. And I have never seen anybody in a modern-day NFL run like that, pure beast-like for 99 yards, just throwing people off left and right. I mean, that was unbelievable. And then for the second run of 54 yards, we've never seen that before. Derrick Henry went 17 carries for 238 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Duval! I love that stupid Duval chant. Duval! You guys got your ass kicked. I honestly think the Jacksonville Jaguars should have to move to London. I'm not sure they should be allowed to play another football game in America after Duval got their ass kicked like that. Utter destruction. It's impossible to get your ass beat worse than the Jacksonville Jaguars did. And this team in Jacksonville is fundamentally broken. If you question it, ask yourself this. Why were the Jags talking trash on 4th down 30-9 after they'd already given up 240 yards rushing to Derrick Henry and 4 touchdowns? Tom Coughlin has to clean house. I mean, you got to trade Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey was nowhere to be found on that 99-yard touchdown run. Duval! He isn't anywhere near the ball. Didn't make an effort at all to go after the ball. Didn't make an effort in any way to try to stop Derrick Henry. And on that 54-yard touchdown run, he didn't keep his outside contained. He came right outside, right inside, and let Derrick Henry go outside. By the way, Derrick Henry, I think in general, doesn't get enough attention for what a physical freak of a human being he is. You know, he's the fastest speed that anybody has hit on a touchdown run this year. Derrick Henry is 6'3", 250 pounds, and he was moving at 21.74 miles per hour, according to NFL Next Gen Stats, which is the fastest that any touchdown run on a handoff has happened this year in the NFL. I mean, that guy is physically supreme in a way that I've never seen before. Now, the challenge with Derrick Henry, as always, has been that Derrick Henry is a home run hitting tailback who looks like he should be a consistent 3.5 yard on every carry guaranteed back. Does that make sense to you? Even at Alabama, he's the kind of guy who would go for 0, go for 1, go for 2 yards, then go for 50. Go for 0, go for 2, go for 1. And the challenge the Titans have had with Derrick Henry is they just haven't been able to run him enough because they run him so predictably that they hand off on 1st down and he gets a yard. And then they hand off on 2nd down and he gets a yard. And it's always 3rd and 8. He hasn't had more than 18 carries in a game this year. And so prior to this, by the way, this is an amazing stat. Coming into the game, the props, Derrick Henry over-under in this game was 32.5 yards, and he went for 238. Talk about an unbelievable dunking on a number That's extraordinary, but it speaks to the challenges that Derrick Henry has had in general with trying to figure out exactly where he's going to be on the Titans' offensive flow chart. If he can perform like this, and he should be fresh, the Titans, I believe, have a really good chance of winning the next 3. If the Titans beat the Giants on the road, then they beat the Redskins, and there's no way on earth they should lose to the Redskins, and then they beat the Colts, they'll be in the playoffs at 10-6, pretty much guaranteed. I think that it is a decent chance that it happens. I think if the Titans beat the Giants Sunday, a week from Sunday, they will be into the playoff because I think they'll win both their games at home. So far, the only loss the Titans have at home is the Baltimore Ravens. So it's hard to predict exactly what the Titans will do, but I think they have a pretty good chance. They beat the Colts twice last year, by the way. They haven't ever beaten Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck has got a Nick Saban-like dynasty running against the Tennessee Titans, but I think the Titans would have a lot more to play for, and I think they would be able to win that game. So that is what happened last night between the Jags and the Titans. Duval is dead, and they should have to send the Jacksonville Jaguars to London. Honestly, I like the city of Jacksonville. The Jaguars would be so much more interesting if they were based in London. They really would. Jags have to redo everything. I think they have to trade Jalen Ramsey. They're going to have to pull a Blake Bortles, a Brock Osweiler style deal with Blake Bortles, where they just give somebody draft picks to try to take away that contract because they paid him way too much money. And I think it by far makes the most sense for them to just redo their entire roster. They got to draft a quarterback in the first round. They looked like they were so close to competing for a championship, and now they are 1-8 in their last 9 games, and that locker room is toxic. They're trying to trade Dante Fowler to the Rams. They've tried to get everybody out. It's just not working. So that was Thursday Night Football. Any questions about that? It's interesting to think about where they might go, where Jacksonville might go. Again, I feel pretty good about the Titans winning their last 3. We'll see. Regardless, I think they're going to play significant December football, and they're basically in the playoffs now. They have to win every game. I think they have to get to 10-6, and they've left themselves no margin for error. So we'll see whether or not they can do it against the Giants. If they can do it against the Giants, they'll definitely beat the Redskins, and then it'll come down to how things go against the Colts in the final week of the season.